So, we moved.
Surprise, motherfucker.
You might be like, wait, hold up. When the hell did you move? Last time I saw you, you were sitting in front of your bookcase and all was hunky-dory. Well, things are still hunky-dory, don't worry. This moved was planned. I just didn't tell anyone. Well, besides like our closest friends and family, but the internet? Nah. So your second question might be, why did you keep it a secret? Well, I'm trying this new philosophy called never let them know your next move. Now, next question is probably why we moved. And this is probably coming from people who aren't super familiar with my channel and where I'm from and the many things that I struggle with. First of all, I was born and raised in Sacramento. My husband was born and raised in California too, but he was from down south. And it has been a goal of mine and of his to move outside of California for many different reasons, one of which it is hotter than Hades in the summertime and I can't stand heat. And we barely get a winter, a fall, or a spring. It's just hot all the time. At least it has been the last few years. Now, obviously being a homebody, weather isn't like the worst thing ever since I never really like leave my house, but it is a huge thing and it's been a goal of ours to be more outdoorsy and go and do more things. And it sucks because usually all of the things to do are in the summer, but then you go do the thing and you get heat stroke, which has happened to me many a times. The other reason is because the cost of living in California sucks and it's only getting worse. If you know, you know. Also, we just wanted to experience something new, at least for me, since I have lived in the same zip code my entire life. So, you know, we kind of wanted to like, I don't know what I'm doing. So, where did we move to? Well, I'm gonna give you 3 guesses, at least for the people that know me. So drum roll, please. Colorado. Are you surprised? Tell me you're surprised. So why we chose Colorado? Well, first of all, we didn't know that it was actually pretty affordable to live here. It just depends on what town you go to. Obviously, the closer you are to like Denver, the more expensive it is. But if you move outside of Denver, there's a lot more affordable communities and the cost of living is, I wouldn't say it's like super duper cheaper than California, but it's at least a little bit better. At least gas prices are a lot cheaper. Taxes are lower and a lot of other things. Also, there's less traffic where we are, which is really nice. And then when there is traffic, it's just like rolling green hills and mountains and it's beautiful. Also, of course, they have the Colorado Renaissance Faire, which I'm a huge fan of. I've gone to the last 2 years.
Everybody say Colorado.
I'm a giraffe.
And I feel like this year specifically, my fair season has kind of sucked because we didn't live near a really good fair. The closest really good one was like 2 hours away and it's always like hot as balls every year, even in October. And I know everyone was like, Folsom Renaissance Fair isn't that bad. You should have gone to that. Well, again, hot as balls in September. But also after going to some really good fairs, well, that one wasn't it for me. I wasn't a big fan the last time I went, so I haven't been back since. I'm sorry if you like it, I just don't like it. There are some things that did not go according to plan. Initially, we put our house on the market in September. We were hoping that it would sell fairly quickly. We'd be able to come out here, find a house also fairly quickly because there was a lot of houses on the market initially, and buy a house out here. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. There were some major repairs that needed to be done to our house, which was turning it off from the normal everyday buyer. Even though we had a brand new AC system, the whole HVAC system and like ventilation and all that was completely changed out, as well as the installation. There were other issues that were pretty expensive that needed to be done. So we ended up having to wait quite a while before we had a buyer, and even then it was an investor, which is not ideal, but at least we had a buyer and we're going to be able to ring in the new year in the new state. That being said, since we were made to wait for so long for a buyer, not a lot of houses are on the market now because wintertime isn't the best time for real estate. It can be good, it can be booming, but in my experience, it's not. Our current situation is we live in a rental. We got a short-term lease, which the shortest term we could get is 6 months. So we are not in our forever home yet. So what that means is we are still on our moving journey. We're in the state, but now we have to go house hunting and finding our forever home, which is pretty pretty exciting. I wasn't too keen on the idea of just like flying out here for a few days and rushing to look at houses and then make a decision.
Make an assessment.
So since we have a 6-month lease, we now have the flexibility to take our time and find the perfect house that fits our budget and our needs and the area that we want to live in. That is good news and bad news. The good news is there is probably going to be a lot of home content coming up, which you guys have been asking me for, which the fact that we were planning on moving all along and didn't tell anyone explains why I've held off so much on home content, and also why I was itching to get my office room tour out and why I've done so many closet clean outs. Now you guys kind of know why. Since we're in a small little townhouse at the moment and the majority of our stuff is in storage, welcome to the garage where the majority of our crap is currently being held.
Come on.
Can't really afford to go thrifting, even though I really want to. So the actual like thrifting and home content is going to be in the future. I might instead be just showing you guys my inspirations. I know I still want to do like a whimsigoth home inspiration breakdown style video. Wow, that's a lot of adjectives. But yeah, there is a lot of fun content to look forward to since I'm gonna be redecorating a house. Yes, I kept a lot of the decor that was in the old house, but I also got rid of a crap ton. And there was some stuff that didn't survive the move. So far, I've only found one broken thing.
I said with Joyce. I was then shot 57 times.
Another casualty. This is completely shattered on the corners. And unfortunately, my favorite little paint cabinet didn't survive because whoever packed it didn't wrap it. And if that person is watching this video, you can now Venmo me $20. My Venmo is on the screen, thank you. Now I'm gonna check my mirror, but I packed it, so I have a lot more high hopes for it. I'm actually kind of shocked because the mushrooms survived. These things are made from the Crayola air dry clay, and that stuff is brittle AF, but she's looking pretty good. This is how they looked when I packed it. They were already kind of chipping a little bit on the edges, but look, no additional chipping. Maybe like right here, but that's about it. See, this is what happens when you pack things correctly. Are you stuck on tape? Oh, baby. Now I'm stuck on tape. Right now, we are in a little townhouse. We didn't unpack everything. We're just trying to see this as like just a landing pad, a stepping stone until we get into our forever home. As you can see, we don't even have our bed frame. We've been sleeping like college students and sleeping straight on the mattress, which is probably why my neck is killing me.
I got this twinge in my neck, and when I turn my head like this, look, ow, see?
So we've only unpacked the essentials, and I did unpack some of my like Ren Fair garb and fantasy stuff because I've been itching to get back into making styling videos. But as far as like my hardcore like whimsigoth styling video, that remains to be seen if I'll be making that video. I'll try because I'm gonna need to make content up until the point where we move into the new place. So I didn't vlog nearly as much as I wanted to for this move. Spoiler alert, moving is hard. Moving is stressful. Moving is sometimes scary. But if you're wondering about my experience moving across state lines coming from someone who has never moved this far before, first of all, what we ended up opting for instead of a U-Haul or movers, we went for a U-Pack freight company. Basically, you pack your own stuff into a freight truck trailer thing, and depending on how much square footage you use, that's how much they charge you. They ship it across state lines to the state of your destination, and when you're ready, when you're in your new place, they drop the trailer off and you have a couple days to unpack your trailer. It's a little bit harder work than if you hired a moving company, but it's a lot cheaper, and if you're a control freak like me, it gives you a little bit more peace of mind. Now, we did have people help us pack the trailer, and they appeared to have done a good job of really Tetrising everything in there, so we didn't get charged too much. Unfortunately, looks were deceiving and a lot of stuff got crushed because heavy stuff ended up on top and light stuff on the bottom, and we're not going to talk about that. I appreciate the help, my friends, but it was kind of hell unpacking. There's also pods, which we looked into, but in the end, we went with what my brother wanted to do since, you know, he's like the most successful adult out of the three of us. So we went with his judgment, what he wanted to do. And all in all, it worked out, even though there were a few things that got screwed up in the move. It's fine. You know, it all worked out. Our stuff didn't get lost, which is always a plus. One thing that's really stressful when moving, especially long distances, is if you have pets and you want to make it as stress-free and smooth as possible. So if you're wondering what we did for our animals, Poppy was probably the easiest pet to move because she likes car rides. So we already had to drive our car here. So after we shipped most of our belongings, Yell and his brother drove our car with the remainder of the belongings that we didn't have in the trailer, and Poppy. And they drove for 2 days across state lines from California to Colorado, and they stayed halfway in Salt Lake City at a La Quinta Inn, which is dog friendly in case you were wondering. They had a little enclosed dog park to walk your dog, and since Poppy is crate trained at night, she wasn't a nuisance. She was a very good girl and slept all night. Now, the cats were a little bit harder because we didn't think they could survive a 2-day car ride. Just 5 minutes in the car is not great for them, so we opted to fly them. And basically how that works is you have to, like, each pet has to go into an appropriately sized cabin approved crate that fits underneath the seat depending on what airline you have. And then typically you're supposed to get them a certification of like health, that they're like up to date on their shots and all that stuff. Again, it depends on the airline, but we ended up going to the vet, getting that, updating their shots, so we had the paperwork. But in the end, Southwest didn't even look at the paperwork. But and then going through TSA, you could either take them out of their carrier and like walk them through the metal detector, or you could do a private screening. We did a private screening. We like waited in the room while they put their carriers through the metal detector. We also got them a prescription anti-anxiety medication in a chewable treat style. I should have gone for the liquid because they would not, even though it was tuna flavored, they would not eat it. I tried everything. So they ended up raw dogging that flight, which was not fun for anybody involved. They were very unhappy.
No, babies, it's okay. I'm sorry. All right, to the airport. It's okay. It's okay, baby.
They're here, they're happy, they're healthy, and we're all one big happy family here.
Hey, Ma. Hello.
So again, what are some things we have to look forward to when it comes to content? Home stuff, obviously, but also I have not abandoned my friend Sarah. I'm hoping that she'll come visit me this summer and she'll get to experience a Colorado Renaissance Fair with me. There are also a lot of other fantasy creators in this area, so I'm definitely looking forward to venturing out and doing collaborations if they are so inclined to work with me. I'm also going back to Sacramento in April for a fantasy retreat with Chelly of Dead Wrath and Beyond and some other amazing photographers. And of course, the Colorado Renaissance Fair. I'm planning on going like every damn weekend if I can help it because I love that fair. There's also a lot of hiking and nature and all of that stuff. I thought I would give you guys that update and let you know how I have been. I am fantastic, especially now that I am not sick. My husband is also fantastic, even though he's getting sick, and so is my brother. Poppy is amazing. She just got back from the dog park. I just heard them come in the door. Just a couple of things that I wanted to address really quick. One, a lot of you guys have been asking me about a P.O. box for the longest time, and I have put it off for the longest time because we were planning on moving, but now that we're in our, hopefully the place that we're gonna stay for the rest of our lives, I am planning on getting a P.O. box. I am looking into it. I don't know when y'all were gonna tell me that it's freaking expensive to have a P.O. box, but I am gonna get one though. It's a business expense, it's a write-off. Also, some of you guys have asked me about Amazon wish lists, and even though I do have one that I regularly put in my descriptions of every video, just with like crafty craft supplies and like gear and stuff, I am going to be putting out a link for a home Amazon wish list, and that is because there are some like basics and essentials that we are gonna need once we move into our forever home. home. I'm not going to be posting it just yet, just because if you guys do end up sending me stuff, I don't want to then have to move that stuff to the new house. So once we do finally find our forever home, I will put the link out there for the wish list. And when you guys do see it, keep in mind that it's not just for you guys to shop from, it's also for our family and friends that maybe want to send us a housewarming gift. And it's also for us to shop from. It's just so I can organize all of the things and little bits and bobs that we either might need or want for our new home, like, you know, kitchen towels and bath towels, and our knives, like our knife block is falling apart and all of that stuff. So, you know, eventually I'll post that. But for the time being, while we're in this temporary living situation, I'm not going to put it out yet, just because I don't really want packages coming here yet. So, yeah, anyway, I look for like and subscribe. Bye.